Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started with our startup pitch session now. I know there's a lot of buzz and excitement in these last companies, but we're going to take it up another notch, and we're going to have another set of 8 companies going off and doing their pitches. So I'd like to request the judges. We have 8 judges. Please take your seats in the front at the table here, please. So we should have 8 judges. Do we have a Van Espadodi? Van, good. Christian Dumel? Christian. All right, very good, excellent. We have a Rolf Janowski. All right, very good. Richard Leach. Richard Leach. Wonderful, thank you. Frank Salzgeber. Frank? No Frank, okay. Thomas Snitch, oh no, Tom is not here. Shalman, how are you? Good. And Patrick Zaitouni. Do we have Patrick? Okay. All right, so we have our judges lined up. So what I'm going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to start our pitch session. I'm going to turn it over to our Master of Ceremonies, Lynn Zunen, who is the Manager for Global Affairs with iSpace. We just heard about iSpace, and so I think this is a great link between an amazing new company and their global manager, who now is going to officiate, if you will, and call up one by one individual companies. They will make their pitch, and we'll now have a reaction from the judges. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce you, Lynn Zunen. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, dear experienced space enthusiasts, dear startuppers, I am very thrilled to take you through today's IAF Startup Pitch Session, an initiative by the IAF Industry Relations Committee as part of the Industry Day at the IAC. Today we are hosting the 2nd edition of this very exciting format where 8 startups have the opportunity to, that we found most promising, to present their projects to our most distinguished jury, which is, again, composed of Van Espabodi, co-founder and managing partner at the aerospace accelerator Starbust. We have Christian Dommel, lead for space and connectivity within the Disruptive Horizons group of Boeing Horizon X. We have Rolf Janowski, the director of pre-development in OHB. Richard Leach, chief strategy officer at the International Space Station U.S. National Laboratory. We have Thomas Snitch, director of federal and government programs at Bowling Green State University. We have Xiaoming Yin, investment manager at Lockheed Martin Ventures. We have Yuk Diaz, innovation and ventures officer at the European Space Agency. And last but not least, we have Laurie Garver, CEO of Earthrise. Thank you very much, dear jury members, for listening very careful to our startups' proposals today, and for asking a couple of questions to them that help them mature their ideas and eventually also make the decision on what startup is going to be the winner of today's session. Dear startups, you will now have each 5 minutes followed by a Q&A session if you haven't exceeded your speaking time. So let's open the floor with Morpheus Space. Your 5 minutes start now.
Hi, Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Bock. I'm the CEO of Morpheus Space. With our strikingly small and efficient propulsion units, we are changing satellite maneuverability as we know it. One second, we have technical problems. First, let me tell you our story. As long as I can think, I wanted to know what's out there. This question has always driven me, and this is why I became a rocket scientist. I began my research almost 10 years ago in propulsion, and working day and night, and by now I should be Dr. Daniel Bock, but I'm not. I dropped my PhD, and I convinced 4 of the brightest minds I know to stop their PhD as well, and use my research to pursue our vision of making satellite maneuverability as simple as possible. So satellite electric propulsion systems are very complex in general. Besides the thruster that you typically only see, you need a lot of additional equipment like pressurized tanks to store the propellant, tubes and wells to feed the thruster, and bulky electronics to operate them. But what if I told you that all this heavy and clunky stuff that can be up to 90% of the whole system is dispensable? We got rid of all of it and miniaturized the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the world's smallest and the world's most efficient propulsion units. There are no moving parts, no tubes, and no pressurized tanks. And our tiny propulsion units are not only small and efficient, but also extremely precise. Continuous and stepless control from 0 to 100% unlocks the highest precision on the market. Our patented technology already contains the propellant, enough to run them for many years, non-stop. And this all is not just a concept, we proved that it works. 6 of these tiny propulsion units are circling us right now on board of 2 satellite missions. I know that because we designed them, we built them, we integrated them into the satellites, and we launched them into space. And I'm so proud today that I can tell you that our propulsion units are working in space now successfully for more than 7 months. Thank you. And our tiny propulsion units are not limited to tiny satellites. In fact, they are building blocks that can be stacked together like Lego bricks, forming tailored propulsion solutions for the widest range of satellite sizes. We have the most scalable propulsion solutions on the market, ranging from the smallest satellites, smaller than a shoebox, up to the larger ones, the size of a truck. And satellite manufacturers and operators love our products. Alone in the last 2 months, we were able to get 10 LOIs and MOUs, and we built up a sales pipeline of more than $8 million. And this is just for pilot missions. And this is in total the beginning. We are targeting a fast-growing multi-billion-dollar market. And I'm proud to announce today that the Aerospace Corporation officially selected our propulsion units as an enabling technology for one of humankind's most ambitious missions, for the Solar Gravity Lens mission. A mission where hundreds of satellites will be sent outside of our solar system to use our sun in order to obtain the very first pictures of exoplanets. And I'm also proud and thrilled to announce that the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory will buy our products in order to perform in-house testings and potentially qualify our systems for future NASA missions. Thank you. But all this wouldn't be possible without our outstanding team that built satellites that are now in space and experiments that are in use on the International Space Station. We also have an ion beam expert that worked on particle accelerators and an expert with more than 20 years of experience in high precision manufacturing. And we got a serial entrepreneur. So, okay. So join us and let us all achieve more with less, with more fear space. Thank you.
Hi there. We've met before.
Yeah, hi there.
As you know, I'm a fan of what you're doing. I think, but for the purpose of this conversation, I'd like to get a better handle on the competitive landscape and why you want your startup to be that much more successful than some of the other propulsion companies out there. What really makes you stand out as a business?
So first of all of the propulsion systems on the market or in development, I think are great because we all target one very important issue of giving satellites and even the small satellites maneuverability to face the problem of space debris in the future. And if you compare us to others, we have actual working systems in space, which is quite unique, or not unique, but we are one of a few. And we achieved this without VC funding. So I think this is something which stands out. And we have by far the most smallest and efficient propulsion systems in the order of 8,500 seconds down to 3,000 seconds. And this makes it so small and efficient. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You just mentioned some engineering numbers which I was missing. You said you have the most efficient propulsion system worldwide, but I was missing a little bit some characteristics of efficiency, like thrust to mass ratio, like ISP you just mentioned, but the power consumption per thrust and so on. Can you indicate a little bit more on these engineering numbers?
Okay, so we have the highest ISP density, we call it, so the highest ISP per kilogram. We designed our propulsion units to face the challenges, the constraints of small satellites like CubeSats. So we not only miniaturized the size, but also the power consumption. Our two products are the smaller one can be operated below 1 watt of power, and the bigger one lies between 5 and 10 watts. So we actually enable propulsion for the first time on the very small satellites. And yeah.
Question here. You mentioned some great traction with civil and exploration customers. Does this technology enable new things for commercial customers?
Yes, of course. These were just the two highlights I announced today. Our sales pipeline of $8 million, which we built up in the last 2 months, consists mainly from private and commercial customers. We give our customers the opportunity to, for example, use launches in lower altitudes and fly to the designated orbit. We also enable to deorbit the satellites after their use. And we essentially do all this without using much power, without using much space. And it's a plug-and-play system, so it's very easy to integrate as well.
Thank you very much for this very interesting proposal. Our time is up for the first company, so let's continue with the next one. I would like to have Hive join us on stage.
Hi everyone. We live in the world of machines, autonomous tractors, trains, self-driving cars, ships, drones. All of them use GPS satellites for navigation. But for autonomous machines, this navigation must be super accurate, down to 1 centimeter. It's mission critical for big industries to define the location of their assets, just with this much precision. So size matters, right? All of these machines, in order to be positioned accurately, have to be connected to a special correction station. The station is deployed on the ground and works within a range of 100 kilometers. And there are thousands of them around the United States, Europe, Asia. And they're all owned either by governmental or commercial data providers. They are all different. And I am, as a drone owner, don't know how to find this station, how to connect to it. Is it working or not? What equipment is there? How can I get correction data from the station? And these questions pop up again and again each time I would like to start a new project. And by going through all of them, I lose time and resources. We saw that problem and created Hive, a solution for super accurate GPS navigation in real time. So Hive unifies the market. It brings all of the data providers and all of their correction stations under one roof. And their correction data is available in one place, marketplace. And our business model is simple. When we sell the data from the station, we take 50% commission. The market is almost 5 billion euros and is going to grow at least twice by 2025. And we can go for it because we've built the business around this technology before. Back in Russia, my team contracted more than 100 data providers whose 600 stations cover 1/3 of the world's biggest country. But now is the time to go global, and we can do that. So we created a company in Estonia. It got supported by European Space Agency. We have a great team of mathematicians building positioning algorithms, computer scientists, information security professionals, engineers who doesn't want to do anything else but build Hive. And I want you to join me along the journey because right now we are struggling. We need an access to the stations in Europe and United States. We're touching the base with investors who are interested in investing in mobility, space tech, and deep tech startups. We launched a couple of pilot projects with delivery robots in Estonia. Right now with the Motor AI Berlin company in Germany. But we're looking for other companies that are building smart machines of the future now. Robots, drones, unmanned systems, and vehicles. This is how the future is going to be. Amazing. And if you want to build it with us, please come talk to me after the show. Thank you. I'm Simon from Hive.
I have a question. Thank you, Simon. So, I have some pain in a past life of trying to help countries aggregate that kind of precision navigation timing technologies and getting them to talk to each other. It's taken years in programs like CESAR and a few other things, especially in Europe, to do that for even something as simple as air traffic control. As convincing as the need is, have you had any other countries actually try to, besides Russia, do that? And don't you think that might create sort of some skepticisms from Americans to say we want to be a part of that for that accurate of GPS?
Can you paraphrase if you mean the political constraints or?
Yeah, political and security constraints. Yeah.
Sure. So we created a company in Estonia for that. We transferred our technology and got support from ESA and right now we feel more credible, more assured to work in international markets.
So ESA is helping you take that outside into other countries now?
So we support by European Space Agency Business Incubation Center, who gives us support in order to further develop the product and adapt it for the new markets.
Okay.
It's very interesting. I'm curious where you are in your product development cycle. How far before you have a viable product?
I mentioned that thank you for the question. I mentioned that we build a business around this technology before, so it's up and running back home where I was born in Siberia. So land surveyors are the primary market segment in Russia, which use this system daily. On a daily basis, either they measure something on the ground to build a building or to build a road, so it's working for them. The reason why we're not happy with that, because it's a low margin market and there's not so much money in there. That's why we are leveraging the existing competences and technology on the new markets.
Assuming I have the need to have a very precise navigation task.
Please speak louder.
Yeah, sorry. Assume that I have the need for an extremely precise navigation. Can you explain a little bit more what you need from me and what service I get from you? How does it work? How can I integrate your solution for my needs?
So there is no magic in the world, so you have to have a specific GPS receiver installed either in your device, in your car, in your drone, that's enabling this process of receiving correction information. The main problem that always existed in this market, because technology, I don't know how many people know that, but it's already there for decades, for land surveyors. They have to buy these receivers for thousands of dollars, for thousands of euros. That's why this technology was far away from the market. But right now, there are new receivers. They are cheaper, they are lighter, they are more affordable. And that's why it's coming to the mass market. So basically, you have to buy hardware for 300 euros and get correction data as a service from us.
Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Thank you for your presentation. Now our next company is going to be HostMe. Good luck.
Here you go. Good evening together. My name is Puya Hashemi. I am one of the co-founder of HostMe. HostMe is a digital company inside the space industry. We have basically two products. The first one is the B2B platform, what you can see right here. And the second one is the software as a service for distributing different space services to the community. All of you who have customers or are engaged in customer relationship will understand the problem I will now describe. In first, like here in the IAC, you're engaged to convince customers, to acquire them, to advise them, and then following emails, following phone calls, Also some meetings will come to place, and it's connected with travel costs and a lot of travels. And that all takes a lot of months, not even years, just to have a good quotation for your customers. But you don't know at the end of the day if the customer is accepting the quotation or not. How about having an online platform? Like you have a login area inside your own website of your company. How does it look like? Your sales team could just go with the customer and create an account for him. Then together with your sales team, or also the customer alone, they could start specifying all of his requirements of the mission, of the payload, and then searching on your website for matchable services which matches the needs of the customer. And then the customer could easily choose the services fitting his requirements and send him directly an automatically generated request for quotation to you. There are a lot of benefits between those kind of digital solutions compared to current analog procedures. Like you have a process flow, you have a customer journey. The customer benefits from a continuous flow from the beginning of an initial point of contact until the contract. And you have also much better organization within your team because you have a direct communication between the customer and all of your engineering team. It also leads to higher efficiency through a targeted product consulting through your sales team while using such an information digitally available. And it also leads to cost savings through the less administrative efforts with more automated sales and order processes. And how about saying that you could also bring all of the services which are on your website also on the HostMe B2B digital platform? Well, what is the HostMe B2B digital platform? It's a place where new customers and providers can meet each other. Payload customers who want to bring some experiment into orbit on board of a satellite bus or a launcher procure there for new satellite buses or new launchers. On the other side, the space mission providers use it for distributor services. Let's go to an example. One of our customers, Deployables Cubed, who are building deployables and actuators for the small sat industry. They have a company account, and they have started specifying their payload requirements like size, mass, or power consumption. And they could then search worldwide for suitable service providers and select the space mission providers fitting to their requirements. Thomas Inn is the founder of the company. He's really happy with us. So if here in the audience is someone having a payload bringing it into space, please register for free on our website. We started actually as a project, everything, last year in January with the DLR project, Space Factory 4.0, where we had to analyze how to adapt Industry 4.0 processes into the space market. Afterwards, we have created the company. We have founded the company in July and have been incubated into the European Space Agency's Business Incubation Center and have been also able to showcase our product and our services within the IAC last year. One of the last achievements was the first granted agency project from DLR, the German Aerospace Center. At the beginning of this year, we have introduced our platform beta phase, and we are now in the phase of also introducing the software as a service white label solution as I have presented before. Next year, we will also introduce further third-party services, and at the end of next year, we will also bring machine learning algorithms to enable a better matchmaking. Besides myself, we have also Sharok and Jörg as co-founders. Sharok and I, we have both studied mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering. Jörg is a well-known expert within the space industry. Together with our two IT developers and our UX UI designers, Katja is our financial mentor. So, thank you for being such a good audience. If you have any questions regarding the first Space Tinder, please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for that. Do you have any competitors that you know of?
Actually, in what we do, we don't have competitors in that moment. So we are bringing direct technologies and payloads into satellite buses. There are other competitors who are bringing entire satellite buses on launchers. There are some, yes, but not much.
is very interesting. I have a question about your revenue model. Who pays you?
It depends on the product what I've presented. So the B2B platform itself, it is only based on a commission model when it comes to a contract between a customer and a service provider. Then the service provider will pay us a commission fee based on his contract. The other story is about the software as a service. And this is just like with what as you pay, for instance, if you use Office. So it's a freemium model.
Yeah, you said you are kind of Tinder for space. How many partners do you have on the payload side, on the platform side? What is the size of the market on both?
We consider that within the next 10 years they have to go into space about 13,000 satellites, only satellites, so we're not in this calculation. There are no suborbital vehicles, no launchers, no ISS, and no deep space missions. From that, we take 10% as our market share. So we believe that we could be involved within 50 missions a year.
This approach seems to depend on some level of standardization and commoditization in the industry. Do you think the industry is there in terms of the component and bus suppliers, standard interfaces?
If we look to small satellites, I think so, yeah. So CubeSats have a lot of standardizations, but also other companies, other bigger companies are also being now involved into this kind of standardization. For instance, if you take the OneWeb satellites. But of course, yeah, you're right, to having that process flow much easier, the standardization, the hardware standardization is one of the big facts.
The problems typically occur if you have problems of interfaces, of interactions between payload and platform. What is your role if these problems occur? Are you solving these problems for both sides?
Are you talking about the problems before the contract or after the contract?
I'm talking about technical problems which occur once you have signed the contract.
Once the contract is signed, these are technical problems which can occur. What we are actually in progress is that we are also working with insurance companies to take from that into account that we can bring it like in other industries, that once you have a contract and if something goes wrong, the insurance company can come into place, and from that on it could be taken by the insurance company.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And now we're very excited to hear more from Clepsydra Technologies.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Pablo Guillino. I am the founder of Clepsydra Technologies. Our company, what it does is high performance software for embedded systems. So basically all what we do is exclusively happening inside onboard computers or embedded computers without any connection to the cloud or any other external connections. Let me start explaining a little bit what is the problem we're trying to address. On the one hand, computers for embedded systems have been evolving a lot. They have more computational power. Sensors are more powerful as well. They produce with more frequency and with a higher amount of data. And this combined with the challenge we are facing, so the software probably is one of the issues. Software engineering is one of the biggest issues in this in embedded software. This is how we started. Okay, sorry, this is not exactly the presentation I passed to the team, but I'll use it. What we did, in order to ensure that embedded systems will perform properly, we brought some of the concepts that are used in the financial industry, in particular high-frequency trading. I have a background as a software developer for high-frequency trading, as well as a background as a PhD in space engineering by the Surrey Space Center. So what I did was took some of the main concepts of high-frequency trading, put them into a miniature version, into an embedded systems, and I started testing it. Especially, I tested it with drone companies. The results were very impressive. So what we achieved, let me see, the next, here it is. So the results were very impressive. This is an example of a company where we did some work with. They do drones, autonomous drones for windmill inspections. What they wanted to achieve was a very high speed flying around the windmill. The idea was to stop the windmill for the minimum time possible, and at the same time capture the highest possible resolution images. Before using our software, they had all sorts of issues with the navigation and with the quality of the image they were capturing. So after they used our software, this is what they managed to achieve. From low resolution to high resolution images, 20 frames per second, very highly accurate navigation around the windmill, and even at this stage, they have a lower CPU consumption. All this was achieved just by changing the software paradigm underneath and using something much more advanced for parallel data processing, which is what we bring here. Our company has been receiving a lot of traction lately. We have been in several different events receiving positive traction. We are now part of the ESA-VIC Incubation Center as well, and we're starting to work with ESA and build some pilot with space companies. Especially what we did recently was a high throughput Earth observation solution together with Lux Space in Luxembourg. Parallel to that, we are building with ESA a planetary landing solution with our software that will bring a higher data processing during the landing phase, meaning a higher determinism and higher chances of success of the mission. Basically, this is one of the two main features of our software. We increase data processing up to 20% for embedded system for space, and we can achieve up to 80% higher determinism with our solution, especially in a multi-core scenario, which is one of the main issues at the moment in space. And this is why we are working at the moment with ESA so closely on this. Our solution is also applied to other sectors, not only to the space, also to robotics, drones, and IoT in general. Yes, this is our team. Apart from me being the founder, we have a group of 4 developers and some business advisors as well. We recently also released our community version. We have an open source version of our software, not necessarily for space because it doesn't have any certification or guarantees, but it can be applied to multiple other sectors like robotics, etc. So I'll be happy to answer any question if you have. Thank you very much.
Hi, so I have a question around do you have a software platform, or are you doing edge computing as a service?
Our software is installed directly in the embedded computer. So we have a runtime version of our software that we deliver to clients, and this is the main business model. The open source model obviously is for free, but the commercial version depends on the number of deployments.
So as a customer, if I am to use your product, I can load my algorithm on the edge, and then that will just optimize and reduce the computation for me, but it's a black box what's going on in there, right?
It's not a black box. It's a little framework. You can use Clepsydra only in a small part, or use it for the whole application running in the onboard computer. We make it in a manner that is really easy to use, and it can be just adding by a few lines of code. The application can run faster. From this point, up to using it everywhere is up to the client.
Thank you.
So is it a codec or is it an autonomy platform for nodes to support the edge computing?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Is it a codec? Like, are you kind of helping with video compression, or is it really just that algorithm for edge computing to support that?
No, the software, what we do is basically a parallel data processing library. This is the core of the product. In the financial sector, something called log-free programming was invented approximately 15 years ago. And what we did was took some of these log-free algorithms and put them into a onboard computer in order to accelerate data processing. Mm-hmm.
How do you plan the business model behind it? How do you plan to license or charge your customers for this?
The idea is to follow something like the Red Hat model. Basically, there will be the community version for free, and the commercial version will be an annual support fee depending on the number of embedded system deployments. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And then we would continue with Space Zap Company.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Prapanpong Damsongsang, a representative from Space Up Company. Today, I would like to present you a solution that allows humans to become an interplanetary species by entering our metabolisms and enhancing our health in space. As you may know, space is a final frontier of our humanities. And there are a lot of space futuristic plans for space explorations as well as space colonizations. But space presents challenging conditions to human body to live in space due to lack of gravity, high radiations, and extreme environment. So these are some problems that humans usually face with when we are living in space. For example, blood loss problems and autoimmune disease. But there is one of the most significant problems that can cause in our human body is the changings of healthy microbiota or living microorganisms inside our body. And it can cause obesity or metabolic syndrome disease. And this is very important because they are controlling our metabolisms. And how can we solve these problems? The answer is actually food. We need the foods, and especially for the probiotic food, which are fundamentals of our civilization. So, Space Up, we provide probiotics, the probiotic for healthier life beyond Earth. The products that can prevent you from the space sickness by restoring gut microbiomes while maintaining a high food safety standard and is suitable for the long duration manned space mission. And what is the challenges of probiotic foods? The first one is the effect of space environment on the active microbes. And the second one is how can we manufacture the probiotic foods in space with the optimal resources? And the last one is the effect of probiotic foods on human body. But Space Up has been developed the key technologies. One of the main key technologies is we develop simulated space environment platforms on Earth for researching about the behavior of microbes. And then this platform allows us to engineering the microbe by transferring target function into the space-optimized microbes in the cost-effective way. And after that, we can invent bioreactors or fermenters for the microbial-based products. At the end of the day, we will be able to manufacture the space probiotics on board the space mission and also collect it for the long-term durations mission. And in terms of our timelines, we will launch our first prototypes by 2021. And after that, we will test this on the International Space Station. And we will launch our final product by 2024, which is corresponding to the space exploration plans. And by 2025, we will fully commercialize our products with the mass productions. And in terms of our revenue, we estimate our revenue from the number of people who live in space according to the Space Foods X Japan. So we can have the revenue around 3.65 million US dollars by 2024. And it will exponentially increase by 100 times higher in 2045 to reach 365 million US dollar, according to the number of people that you've seen at the bottom of the slide. And we can make it possible because our team consists of the multidisciplinary member from the engineering side, scientists who specialize in the food science technology, and as well as the microbiologists. And we also have a business we develop that help us to deal with the business side. And we have the collaboration with a lot of academic institutes in Thailand who help us to research and develop our products. Finally, space probiotics will be the future of space food for the long-duration manned space missions. And we provide you a better quality of life for living beyond Earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So do you work with NASA? You mentioned JAXA or them. There was a lot of research been done in space already. Do you have access? It's public information?
We don't have that kind of information right now, and we still working on our proposal and try to implement the products in the first step. We have proposed this kind of this project into the Space Agency of Thailand, which is GISTA. Yes.
What flavors are you going to have?
Sorry.
What flavors? What taste? What's it taste like?
We try to develop our products to have like the good taste, and it's similar to the food that we actually eat on Earth. So it should be like everything that you want to eat. Like, yeah.
So you have based your business model on the number of people living in space. So I have two questions. First, what is the assumptions behind this number of people in space? And second, what is your assumption regarding market share for your products?
Okay, sure. Can I have a backup slide? Can you switch to the slide again? So basically, we estimate on the number of people who will live in space by from the research from Japan, and there will be 20 people live in space in 2024. This one. All right. As you can see, like there will be 20 people living in space by 2024, and they will increase into the 2,000 people in 2045. It's include the LEO economics, lunar gateway, and space traveler. So we estimate our revenue based on this research. And in terms of the market share, we set our market share to the 70% of the space probiotic food, because then there is a few competitors in this section of the market.
Okay, thank you very much for this very interesting pitch. And now
Thank you so much.
we're looking forward to Deep Terran. Please join us on stage. Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ana Cristina Rosa. I'm a founder and CEO of Diptron. Diptron is a startup specialized to develop an application for detecting Aedes mosquito risky areas based on artificial intelligence that combines satellite data and ground data. I would like to introduce my team. Besides me, Dr. Tiago Azevedo is our epidemiologist. Riad Alain is our geoinformatics engineer and also with artificial intelligence background. And our recent partner, Visiona, a Brazilian space company specialized in design and in development of machine vision application. The problem. Dengue, Zika, and chikungunya are diseases caused by the bite of Aedes mosquito. They can be found everywhere. In 2015, I went to my home country, and thousands of children were born with Zika. The government spent a lot of money to remediate the problem. But the most serious and dangerous is that travelers who visit risky areas can disseminate this disease. At the present, vaccine has not proven a good result. How to solve this? For our customers, such as airlines and travel agencies, Diptron allows booking hotels in low-risky areas, taking travel measures, assessing disease symptoms information, and assessing hospital and pharmacy address. For our customer government, Diptron offers an early warning system for Aedes breeding sites that allows policymakers to take mitigation actions for Aedes outbreaks. You can see this graphic, this map from São Paulo City has already been trained and tested. How Diptron works. Climate data, satellite data provided by Copernicus program, and biological data, demographic information, and other relevant data are trained and tested in artificial intelligence and give us a prediction model in 4 weeks in advance. You can see here an example, as I already mentioned before, the São Paulo City map. Diptron has 3 segmented customers, airlines and travel agencies, which their customers can save time avoiding risky areas. Governmental and non-governmental organizations can save money by reducing the costs of campaign and remediation actions. Medicine supplies, insecticide, and mosquito repellent companies can save time and money to precise risky areas. But the most important here is Diptron can save lives, minimize the risk of fatal diseases. Our main customer has a global market estimated in $1 trillion on business trip a year. For example, São Paulo City has a total amount of 12.5 million international travelers a year. Our business model. The 2 first business models are based on subscription, and the third one in advertising. You can see in this graphic the revenue offered taking consideration only 4 Brazilian cities with $5.5 million a year. What makes Diptron unique? Diptron is the only market that supports traveler decisions based on artificial intelligence and using geographic information system. A view of our roadmap. This year, Diptron got its minimum value product, and A pilot for the São José dos Campos cities is being prepared to run in December. In 2020, we wanted to start to sell to other Brazilian municipalities and also to our first segmented customer. In 2021, we plan to expand to other countries. So we are seeking half a million to cover our first market in order to validate it and calibrate our prediction model. Thank you.
Do you have any subscribers yet? You mentioned airlines and travel agencies. Have you lined up any subscriptions?
Excuse me, I could not understand.
Do you have any subscribers yet?
No, we are not rich yet, but we go. We have already a prototype for this.
You have mentioned in one of your last charts that you need the money also to validate your model. Have you done some preliminary calibrations of your algorithms?
Yes, we
so
have.
That you have a kind of proof that it works?
We have. We have now achieved 65 to 70%.
Of what? Success rate?
For testing our algorithm.
Okay.
What makes this hard to copy from other companies? Is there intellectual property that's unique or algorithms that are unique and hard to copy? You're mostly using free data, right?
So it's a little, I cannot. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, what makes this hard to copy? What would make this hard for someone else to do as well?
Makes hard to?
To copy this product, for a competitor to copy this, for competition.
Oh, they can develop it. Make the accuracy of the algorithm less than another one. You know, depends. The technique of they are going to implement for machine learning, deep learning, for whatever. You know, the data also need to be well prepared to insert the algorithm. You know, there is a process to do this.
Thank you very much. And now I'm very curious to hear what's behind the name Intergalactic Education.
Hi, my name is Justin Park, and I'm the co-founder and president of Intergalactic Education, LLC. We are a STEM-focused educational computer game company. I started the software, building the software with a couple of students from the International Space University. We set out to try and educate kids about what's going on in the space industry. We have a strong focus on helping kids understand why STEM is important. STEM is important because you can grow up and work in the space industry, which is a really great industry to work in. Another one of our focuses is trying to get more women and young girls interested in STEM. I presented in the educational track this morning. There was a study that came out by Euroconsult a couple of years ago that showed that it's 4-to-1, which is really a bad gap. And so we're trying to close that gap by creating a storyline about all of the wonderful women astronauts and engineers that are doing cool things in the industry. And so, yeah, we did a customer discovery exercise in 2016 and 2017. I won't talk at length about all of the features that we are able to do, but we did identify a number of things that teachers and principals and superintendents want. Our software collects a lot of information on how the students are performing. We can generate reports. We've got an artificial intelligence agent built in there to try and make questions easier if the kids are starting to struggle. We don't want any young kids turning off to math or science, and so we help rebuild that confidence. We save teachers time by grading the homework automatically. We've built it using a platform called Unity 3D. We've got really pretty amazing graphics. It's one of the focuses, one of the things that separates us from a lot of the other ed tech companies out there is that we use 3D models, special effects. We've scraped a number of NASA repositories for real information. We've got a solar system simulator. We've got an international trademark on Space World. We've integrated a number of Khan Academy videos in order to create a barrier of entry from other people kind of stealing our ideas as we're trying to get out to as many schools as we can as quickly as possible. The gamification element works pretty well. We can get different schools competing. You know, you go to Oregon Middle School and say, hey, I don't want those Pickawaxen kids beating you, and so you can really incentivize the kids to do a lot of homework very quickly. Nobody wants to learn out of a textbook anymore. This is a testimonial from one of the teachers, one of the schools. You know, this is the future of education. It needs to be adaptive. It needs to be able to tailor to what the kids are expecting in terms of graphics quality. We charge $195 an hour in our after-school programs. That includes up to 20 iPads. We also have a business model where we license it and install the software on the computer school lab. The school lab computers are getting about $3,000 a school. We're at the break-even point, I guess. We cleared about $40K in revenue last year. We're hoping to double or triple that this year. Projections look pretty good now that we've got a lot of momentum going. Getting in the first 1 or 2 schools was really a challenge, but now that we're in 17 schools, that's become quite a bit easier. One of the things that we want to continue to do is to build on our network through referral. We've got some public outreach going on now, reaching out to parent-teacher organizations. We've already applied for a couple of government grants. We're working on a couple more now. There is money out there from NASA and National Science Foundation and the Department of Education. What I'm up here doing is trying to find a strategic investment from someone like Lockheed Martin or Boeing or Northrop Grumman. Having that name behind us would really help. You know, I can go to a school and be like, hey, we're Intergalactic Education. We've got some schools working with us, but if we have the backing of a big aerospace company, I think that would give us a lot of gravitas. We're trying to inspire this generation. You know, kids, a lot of them don't think they're going to grow up and get to go to space someday, which is wrong. If you go back a generation, all the kids in the 70s and 60s, they saw the Apollo happen, and they believe that they were going to get to go to space someday, and I want to try and fix that so that kids these days have that same optimism. And so, that's my pitch. Thank you.
Do you have any plan to extend also outside of education, but more also going into the simulation and modeling software piece?
So one of the mini games that we built is actually called Spaceball. It's kind of fun. It's less educational, but it incentivizes the kids to get through the homework really quickly. And so Spaceball is a lot of fun. We ended up spinning that out into its own little mini game. It's on both of the app stores and Steam. It's got about 40,000 downloads. Simulation software is a great way of teaching kids a systems approach to learning, not just right out of a textbook, but thinking about the problem in a bigger picture.
Can you tell me about your team?
So it's myself. I've got a couple of developers. Right now they're in school, but they were full-time over the summer. I've got the PR person. I've got 2 grant writers that are helping me. They're all 1099s. We're pretty scrappy. I work on this probably 100 hours a week. I've got a couple of mentors, people in the aerospace industry that have given me advice over the years, and yeah.
So is the game tied to like a science curriculum, or is it an after-school activity?
Yeah, it's both actually. We're found most of our paying customers in the after-school market, but one of the important things was on one of the slides is that we tie to next generation science standards and Common Core. That's something that's very important for the teachers. They don't want to use something that's not going to help them at the end of the year.
And how will you update content? What's the plan for ongoing product development?
It's geared towards middle school kids. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
How do you update the content in the game?
Oh, we've got a system. It's all online. We push it out. We do updates pretty regularly, I'd say about every week. Yeah, we added 6 new algebra modules over the summer. And so, yeah, we have a digital process for that. Anyone looking to invest?
One question. This is really great. Obviously, a huge need for the whole industry is getting the right talent. I guess, do you offer full-time support, or at what point do you actually start to look more like a major software provider with 24/7 support? And what's really the big scaling look like? Is it global? Is it U.S. only?
Right now, we're pretty local. We're working with mostly schools in Maryland, Virginia, and DC. Yeah, if we're going to scale large like that, we are going to have to probably take on either some angel investment or something along those lines. Yeah, scaling is really where we're at right now. It's the next step.
One last one. Have you talked to any other gaming companies in terms of how they've looked at market entry, how to get it out there as a channel partner?
Yeah, we actually just got into a partnership with another ed tech company in DC. They're in over 1,000 schools, and so we're now in all of their schools as well. We're not their only partner. They have about 100 other partners. But yeah, they've got a pretty large team, people that are dedicated to operations management. We've got, one or two people that are doing operations management now. We are working with a couple of teachers as well, those individuals that stick around after school and help the kids with the software. Yeah, partnerships are an important way of growing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then let's welcome our last candidate for today, which is Digantara Research and Technologies.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rahul Rawat, COO of Digantara Research and Technologies, and we aim to make space a better place. So I believe we all are well aware of the space situation, the current space scenario. Yes, I'm talking about the space junk. The possibility of every satellite or any satellite being hit by a piece of junk every second. These space junk, there are millions of them, and they are continuously revolving around the Earth. These space junk poses a great threat to the future of space exploration. The good news is the space industry has already identified this threat, and they are continuously working on tracking, mapping, and removing the space debris. But the bad news, the data sets of these space debris are still incomplete. The catalog is still incomplete. There's a large variation of space debris ranging from greater than 1 meter in size to less than 1 millimeter in size. In this variation, the space debris of size 1 meter to 2 centimeter have been tracked and mapped, but less than that, there is no precise mapping done. These debris are too small to be tracked from the ground-based solutions, yet too large to be shielded. If you see this map, this shows the countries with the satellite building and the satellite launch capabilities. These are the countries which are at the potential risk of their satellite being destroyed every second. The solution that we propose is an in-orbit space debris monitor, a space-based solution to track and map the space debris, a time-of-flight laser range finder. So basically, this is a module of 0.5 U, 10 cross 10 cross 5 centimeters, that can be put on any satellite, like we put some sensors, let's say some sun sensor or some star sensor. It can be put on any satellite, and it can be flown into the space, and it will detect the debris on the range of around 300 kilometers around the satellite, and then that data can be transmitted down to our ground stations for the further processing and completing the catalog of the orbital debris and creating the map. So this is our revenue model. After we have our module deployed in the space, we'll get the data down to a ground station, which can be then given to our customers who subscribe to have our data. So the mission planning, the Series A, we have already done the prototyping. We are doing the testing of the prototype. Soon we'll be completing, in the next month, we'll be completing the testing of the prototype. And then we are working on a satellite bus that will be launching in the second quarter of 2020 with this mission. This mission will act as a demonstrative cum testing mission for us. After that, we are planning to deploy a constellation of satellite in the year 2021. And then we aim to deploy a network of ground stations across the globe, which will be multi-satellite IoT-enabled ground station that can be leased by our customers to even capture their satellite data across antipoles. So this is our team. These people might look some young people, but they are continuously working hard to make this dream come true, to make space a better place. Thank you.
So you mentioned two main applications, if I'm not wrong. First one is to generate a catalog of space debris objects, and the other one was to use this laser-based system for collision avoidance. What is the main, let's say, field of application in the business model also? What is the main driver for your solution?
So basically, we'll be using this module to track and map the debris. Then we'll be completing the catalog, and we'll be predicting the future path of these debris, the orbits of these debris. So we'll be giving this information to our customers, and then they can actually maneuver their satellites through the high collision risk orbits of LEO ecosystem.
How quickly do you think you'll have the full, for your set of orbits, the full mapping, and then how often do you update the catalog, and how many satellites do you need to do that?
So it's not like our debris is following a proper path. Like the path of the debris can change the time. So it's like we should have a constellation deployed in the space so that it gives us real-time tracking of these debris.
How many measurements of the same particle you need to have a clear evidence that you have the elements, the two-line elements of one single part?
We were planning to do it, and we actually had some kind of 6 measurements, like 6 different measurements we have done as far.
Thank you very much. If we do not have any further questions, thank you. So my colleagues will need another couple of minutes to count all the votes. Meanwhile, I am very pleased to welcome on stage Louise Lindblad, who's the co-founder and COO from Valley Space, our winner of the 2018 IAF Startup Pitch Session. Louise? Okay, I guess we'll have to look for Louise. Okay, so Valley Space is missing. As I said, it will take a couple of minutes until we have the final evaluation, until we are able to announce our winner. What we can say is that all of you have made it here on stage because you are curious, you are adventurous, and you all have a bold business idea. However, as I said, we can only have one winner. The winner will receive one complimentary registration to the IAC in 2020 in Dubai, provided by Lockheed Martin, and an exhibition area sponsored by IAF. The winner will also have the opportunity to take a tour of the Airbus Bremen multi-divisional site with exclusive access to the production stage of the Ariane launchers, to a mock-up of the ISS and much more, as well as an IAF official certificate and goodie bags. So now we're waiting for the magical envelope. Almost done. So it will be our IRC chair, Robbie Samantha Roy's pleasure to announce the winner of this year's IAF Startup Pitch Session.
So, drum roll, please. All right, thank you, judges. And now if our elementary arithmetic is right, our winner is Morpheus Space. So Daniel, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Excellent. And shake his hand. And once you take this, and here's a little goodie bag. And come in. Take a picture. Take a picture here. Good job.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Thank you very much to our judges for asking all these interesting questions and giving a couple of really good hints to our startups. We wish everyone good luck for their future, and, well, see you next year.